Apologies in advance, I'm getting over a head cold, so I'm sorry if I sound a bit like a cartoon character this time around. Welcome back to Cam in Focus. It was a nice hiatus, but now it's time to get back on the grind. I've got some big projects in the works, so make sure you subscribe to Geek News Now to keep up with everything. So I'm just going to start this off by saying, if you haven't watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, what the absolute ever-loving is wrong with you? Go watch it before continuing with this video. That's my spoiler warning. Go treat yourself to a great film and a good time. Everything Everywhere All at Once is an absolutely miraculous film. It's basically a genre mashup that takes what we know about different styles of film and throws them all into a crock pot to deliver a meal that sates the soul. It's not exaggeration when I say that this movie has pushed itself right up into my top 10 and maybe even top 5 films of all time. What? This movie has been analyzed and dissected to absolute death. And yeah, I'm gonna kinda do the same here, but instead of making a 20-minute video talking about any one thing or top 10 Easter eggs that you missed, I'm going to make a
6-minute and 20-second video
about the 5 things I love the most about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
What's that? You got something to say? Here we go. Here we go.
Number 1, the performances. Every actor in this movie is marvelous. Michelle Yeoh, whom you might know from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or Shang-Chi for all you youngsters out there, seriously, you're missing out, gives us a breathtaking portrayal of a woman who's in over her head. But truly, I have to give the biggest props to Ke Huy Quan. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but I'm a dang old American, man. You know him as Short Round from Indiana Jones or Data from the Goonies, and not much else. He was a stunt coordinator and fight choreographer for some major flicks, but otherwise he completely dropped out of acting since childhood. And my god, what a freaking comeback. This man gave us a monumental performance as Waymond Wang. Not only did he have to jump between happy-go-lucky Waymond and serious angsty alpha Waymond, but he also had to portray some heavy emotion in some scenes, and it had me absolutely riveted. Not to mention he rocked the physicality of the character by giving us such a memorable fight scene. Not surprising given Kwan's background, but man, what a breath of fresh air. And was I the only one who noticed he wasn't actually sitting on a chair here? Anyway, it's no wonder he won the Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actor in this movie. Number 2, the balance. When I say this film is a blend of many genres, I mean that it takes the things that makes those genres great and incorporates them into the narrative in a way that makes sense and feels like it belongs. Elements of horror, romance, action, science fiction, and comedy blend together seamlessly. But what I think it does the best is balance out the humor with the drama. It's not like a Marvel flick where the cheap jokes and one-liners undermine the story. In this movie, the humor feels organic, like it has a reason to be there. When a joke or funny line is said, it fits the character it's coming from. When someone does something funny, it feels earned because the humor is part of the story and it's not just played for laughs. Number 3. Withheld information. Now for some films, especially the big ones that have a huge and complex story, the audience needs some info dumps in order for the dots to be connected. And this film does have some of that, but what I really appreciate is that the writers don't go overboard with it. We're told a little about what the Alphaverse is and what it's about, but they wisely don't spend too much time showing us the ins and outs of it. In a story like this, honestly, it's not needed. All we need is the pertinent information that relates directly to the plot, and that's what we're given. We're given just enough for our brains to be able to fill in the gaps on our own. They know that less is more, and sometimes the way our imagination fills in those blanks is much more exciting than having every detail spoon-fed to us. Number 4, expectation subversion. Alright, so I'm going to get into kind of spoiler territory here, so there's your last warning. The way the film progresses leads us to believe that the main villain is building some kind of weapon to destroy the multiverse, only for that weapon to end up being a bagel. Yes, an everything bagel. At face value, this seems like a hell of a stretch on our suspension of disbelief, but somehow it just works. Not to mention that the bagel isn't meant to be used on the multiverse, but rather the villain herself. This is subversion done right. The characters organically and naturally come to a conclusion only to have the rug pulled out from under them in a way that matches the character development of the villain. This isn't a plot twist meant to make us rethink how we feel about the story. Rather, it's meant to show us every character is broken in their own way and they're dealing with it the best way they know how. As the plot unfolds, the layers of each character are peeled away to show us not how extraordinary they are, but rather how human they are. And that is the pinnacle of damn good writing in my opinion. Number 5, the editing. Yeah, this is a major one for me. Coming from Studio A24, you kind of expect the film to have an artsy flair to it. But man, the editing and the way each shot is constructed is absolutely top-notch. It takes full advantage of the multiverse theme of the film in a way that sucks us right into the world, or worlds. Like this shot here, the way she becomes out of sync really takes the multiverse idea and presents it to us in a way that shows both how similar and yet dissimilar they are. There are no areas where the editing feels jarring or out of place, and every shot feels deliberate and so full of life. The way everything melts together creates a composition of shots that delivers a naturally flowing feast for the eyes. So yeah, this movie is absolutely outstanding and has risen to prominence with me as one of my all-time favorites. If you haven't checked this flick out yet, do yourself a favor and give it a watch. Have you already seen it? What'd you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Geek News Now to stay up to date with all of our content, especially now that I'm coming back with my Cam and Focus videos. So stay tuned for all of it, and have a wonderful day.